I just want to talk to y'all, man. Straight up, no filter, no news, no nothing. Just straight up, me to you. Um, a lot of people think I've been on one for these last few months, ever since George Floyd was killed. Uh, but I've been on one my whole career, so this shit ain't nothing new. I felt like I've been ahead of the curve, and I've been waiting for people to catch up. Um, we got shit to do, man. It's an election coming up. Um, I don't think neither party respect what we need done to close this wealth gap. Um, and I think we gotta use our vote, this black vote, as a fucking tool. Some call it a weapon to get what we want. Don't matter which party give it to us. Somebody got to get behind the contract um, with Black America. It's very broad. It deals with a lot of our pain, um, and it helps us catch up. You know, I don't really, I ain't got nothing else I'm doing or passionate about but some change. You know, I don't give a damn about a movie or a fucking record or none of that shit. I care about changing it, changing the situation for black people in this country. Um, and I want people, to get behind it. We got a short window. This is it. We don't get it now. It might be another fucking 30 years before we get any of this.
Damn,
We got to
facts.
go for it now. It ain't no time to play.
Come on.
I don't want my kids, grandkids, great whatever, great grandkids, anybody after that to have to deal with this bullshit.
For real.
We got to change it now.
Let's go.
Straight up. We got to get serious. We got 92 days to push this program. I need all hands on deck.
Let's go.
This your homeboy Ice Cube.
Salute.
You'll be hearing from me.
All right. Yeah. There he is right now. A contract for Black America. Excuse me, man, as I hit this 9 pound hammer. So I see frames are dropping. I don't know if this is. Hopefully, this is coming through clear and all that good stuff. But excuse me. Royal thoughts or random thoughts of your highness. Make sure you subscribe and like and do all that good stuff. I just want to spit to y'all a little bit, some game, and I mean, Cube said what he said, and as somebody who grew up on the West Coast, listening to Cube, listening to others, I've always been able to identify different artists, especially underground artists on the West Coast, and you knew where their head was at. Like Cube was just blatant with it. You know what I'm saying? Especially after that NWA breakup, he came through just smashing with Death Certificate, Lethal Injection, the things he did with Lynch Mob. I mean, you know where he stands on this shit, right? No question about it. However, now he's introducing something that I want to show you guys called the contract with Black America. Now, with like anything else, like he said, there's a window of opportunity that we have to really make a statement in our demands with some follow through and to get tangibles. Now, I'm not going to base that on the election, although that is something that's epic, that also this the timing of, blah, blah, blah. But the epic progress that we've had since the George Floyd, because anyone who was in denial can't be in denial, and that just clearly drew the line. And, as a people, when we see something like that, don't just look at that as a hashtag George Floyd. That's you. That's me. That's your niece, your nephew. That's your uncle. That could be your mama, your dad, your kids. Could be any one of us. So it does have to be all hands on deck, and we have to identify those who are with us and those who ain't, no matter what color they are. You're either on the right side of history or you're not. But like anything that's going to actually take action, there's always going to be those who will dismiss the idea because they don't want to participate. Those are the same ones that give the smoke to INFACT. See, a lot of people, when they saw INFACT pull up, they knew in their mind they could never be part of something like that. Or fight you for stepping on their shoes, they would never do that. So in order to rationalize that in their mind, they have to find faults in the leader or insignificant details that they don't agree with. That's why so many people are calling them agents. Grandmaster Jay's an agent, because he lied about having Grammys. What nigga don't fluff up their resume when they're trying to get validation? A lot of people do that. That's not an agent. But what's funny though is some of the ones that are calling them agents actually served in the fucking military. You actually signed up and trained to be deployed across the world to kill people you don't know for a freedom or benefits you will never get. But you're calling him an agent when the only thing he's doing is building an army for us. So you're calling our army's agent because you said the same thing about many other organizations and institutions that we have that were built for our best interests. But some of y'all actually were agents of the government in the capacity of a trained killer. And sometimes you had to even kill your own people. Let's keep it real. But you're going to call the agent the one that is raising an army that should have been had. See, a lot of these things, which you guys don't know, is these things have already been in the makes for a long time. In fact, this didn't jump out from nowhere. There's already been Panther formations for over 30 years now. There's been other gun clubs and other things like that that were designed to fulfill the capacity of being able to govern or police ourselves, conflict resolution, defense, possibly offense. So these things have they've always been here, unnoticed by our own people because our own people ain't interested because they're afraid they don't want to support it. But other people notice. Yeah. And if we would have been supporting like we should have, we would already have, in fact, pull up in every city. We would already be able to respond to these police killings with a little bit more power behind it. We would be able to check situations immediately, like what happened to that brother. I forgot where was that, man. Georgia. Ahmaud. I don't want to fuck his name up. Aubrey, I believe. Or when Zimmerman killed Trayvon. See, if you really want real response like that and you know that you're not going to do it, then why would you expect anyone else to do it if you won't do it? And then if there are already those who possibly could respond, why wouldn't you support them? So why are you upset that brothers and sisters by the thousands are starting to organize to have a proper defensive response? Why are you mad about that? Why are you more mad about that than you are gangster rappers promoting violence when most of them don't even live that lifestyle? Why are you more mad at that than you are the songs that are promoting sexual activity and drugs to our community? You're more mad about INFACT than that. So who's the agent? Let's keep it real. See, the truth is, most people that's coming against this shit are people who A, are scared to death, or B, they're never going to participate in anything that has to do with us progressing. I mean, just look at your bank account. Let's keep it real. You still banking with the banks that literally own your ancestors? You can't even switch bank accounts from your Bank of America to One United or another black bank, but you're critiquing the proper response to violence against our community. You're acting like you really are about the best interest, but you can't do something simple. That doesn't even cost you no money to do that. All you'd be doing is putting your money in helping us build our own institutions, which would help close the wealth gap, because banks can buy the block, create jobs, create opportunities to purchase homes or start businesses based upon what they have. And if we were supporting these banks, there'd be black banks in every neighborhood, which would be a hedge against, number one, poverty, and also, more importantly, maybe gentrification. See, those are real solutions, though. But if you ain't thinking like a king, then you're not really looking at that. You're looking at it from the perspective of a sheep. So that's why this is royal, or thoughts of your random thoughts of your highness. Not because I'm smoking, because this is king shit. So the difference between kings, queens, and these wannabes isn't how much money you have or status you have on social media. It's how you think and how you act. That's the difference. See, kings want to be part of the conversation when there's power and real tangibles involved. They want to be part of how something is governed or ran. There's levels to this, you know what I'm saying? So, on some level, you should want to have an input on what goes on in your community and your people as a whole. And if you're not willing to participate in those things, you're not a fucking king or a queen. You're not even an asset to the movement. How are you spending your money? Statistics say 98% of your money is being spent outside of your community. I get it. We don't have all the products and services that we could provide for our own people, but damn it, we have more than 2%. You could definitely spend more than 2% of your money with your own people. But if you won't even do that, why the fuck would I care about what you think about InFact or about any of these other solutions? Because you're not participating in even the basic ones that wouldn't, you know what I mean? I cut it out. So of course, the naysayers are typically those who are afraid and or they're not going to participate. Because people who participate, they understand the potential and they see how shit really works. Those are real kings and queens. They're willing to make minor adjustments because as a whole, if we made these minor adjustments, it wouldn't take a big sacrifice from one person. Just minor adjustments from the collective, we're good. It's that simple. But it will take action though. So a contract for Black America means that we have to really understand what it is and act appropriately or back it. And the concept is very simple. I've been saying it for years on Black Guy Stand Radio and on my other channel that's shut down now. I'm saying it for years. And I've introduced people to the, what was that? Afro Synergies. He had an African American political agenda. See, things like that. So this is what bothers me about those who act like they understand politics and that politics will never work for black people. And you sound like a slave for one, because it's working for everybody else. Why the fuck won't it work for us? Who are we that it won't work for? I thought we were the cream of the crop. I thought, you know what I mean? I thought it was our time. I thought the curse was over and all that other fly shit y'all was saying that you really didn't believe in the first damn place. Let's keep it real. You didn't believe that shit. So yeah, there's a way to play it. But remember, there's no one quick solution. Like, so every time a solution is introduced, you guys act like if it's not the magic bullet that cures everything, it's not even worth doing. Or you act like we're not supposed to negotiate with other people outside of our race, even though in your personal life you're subservient to them. But then you're acting like on a boss to boss tip, we're not supposed to have negotiations and discussions. You're not realistic. You're not a fucking king. Let's keep it real. So it really boils down to, listen, man, minor adjustments in collective, cooperation amongst us is the key. Like it's not even, listen, it's not even that deep anymore. It's basic shit at this point. We've all been introduced to Elijah Muhammad by this time, right? You all are aware of who Elijah Muhammad is. You're aware who Marcus Garvey is, right? These aren't mainstream, but we've been putting this out in the atmosphere for so long. You're aware. You're aware of Huey P. Newton. perhaps Dr. Amos Wilson, you're aware of the principles of Kwanzaa. So separate your emotions from the principles, separate the people who you may not like for whatever superficial reason, even though you'll never match their work, but separate them from the principles of the work. And right there, you see exactly what, if implemented, would raise our level overnight. It's that simple. Play your role. It's that simple. So on one hand, it's frustrating. It's good to see that people are starting to accept this on more broad scale, and that even celebrities like Ice Cube, but Ice Cube's been on that shit, but others will come out and now they're echoing the sentiment and the principles that the underground has been putting out there, and that our master teacher's been putting out there for decades. So it's good. It's reaching more people. Cool, because that potentially means more participation. So a lot of stuff that's been echoed by myself and others makes a lot more sense now, doesn't it? But new level, new devil. So that means that we have a new devil because we're trying to level up. And the new devil that's coming against us, it's not even the government so much. Yeah, we do have the police whoop-de-whoop, and it's still shenanigans. But the real ones that come against our progress are the ones that look like us. And they usually do it out of fear. That's why they do it, out of fear, and they don't really believe that shit that they've been saying, so they don't really think that we can actually achieve and overcome. Even though they'll tell you about the pyramids we built 5,000 years ago, about the Moorish empires, about how great we were as Israelites, about all these inventions that we created, about Black Wall Street. They'll tell you they'll regurgitate all that bullshit. And it's not bullshit, but it's bullshit if you ain't doing nothing with it. The idea of that history is to understand your potential and then scale that to what we could be doing right now. How can we make that happen again? If we had that much potential then, what can we now do? And if you're not using those lessons for that reason, then you're just masturbating, intellectually producing nothing. So why would I give a fuck what you have to say? This is king shit. Let's get into this contract, man. I think I did enough for the intro. Anyway, here we go. So I know it's dropping frames, whatever. So this is the introduction for the contract between Black America. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. See, so when it comes to like when we're talking about politics and who we're not gonna back, like I told you, like the federal politics and election is bullshit. It's a game. We understand that. Doesn't mean that we don't have to play it. Doesn't mean that we can't benefit from leveraging certain things. Like I thought y'all said that we knew technology too, right? Those are from the lessons. Can we not use technology to our advantage or what? Can we not? Can't we play games too? To our benefit, collectively and individually? Can we not do that? How is one moment you guys are mad about, or you guys, complaining about the imagery of things like white Jesus and Confederate flags and blah, blah, blah. You understand symbolism and imagery then, but how come we're not utilizing the symbology that we could be utilizing in our favor, even if it's a little fugazi? Why can't we do the same thing? Rest in peace, Chad Boseman. But how come when Black Panther was out, y'all niggas was talking about, a lot of y'all, oh, all that money ain't going to the black community, though. Well, how much of your money goes to the black community? Check yourself first. Do that. Oh, but it's just this. Like, shut up, man. We've been seeing Africa as bombed out on TV, starving people with flies on their cheeks for years. Now we got some beautiful shit that our children could aspire to be, and you're mad about it, instead of using that as a weapon to empower ourselves. Was there fugazi in the movie? Yes. T'Challa was a little weak. That's just how the shit was written. But how come you didn't look at the epicness of Black Panther comic starting in 66, Black Panther Party starting in 66, the Panther being used as an image of power, the fight, the struggle? Why didn't you put all that shit together in a nice technology pie of righteousness that you could have fed to the youth and fed to our people to have them really wanting to really make a real Wakanda happen. See, it doesn't inspire you like that. Look at Akon. He's building an actual crypto city, Wakanda style, right now, because that's how kings think. That's why I was telling you about the Black Town Revival movement. Yeah, I was talking about collectively ownership of land and building a small community that would graft and, over time into possibly a kingdom. But for now, it's just a place that we could domicile, grow real food, live in harmony, build homes and businesses. Black Wall Street did it with 36 acres. That's what I'm saying. Real kings, that's how we think. The world isn't enough. But in order for some of these things to happen, see, instead of you guys, let's get back to the politics shit. Who you don't want to back this politician because he didn't say he's for reparations and he doesn't have a black agenda. How? Come on, man. For real? You really thought that? Hold on. First of all, you would even trust them to come out with a black agenda? That's the first problem right there. Why you should probably just shut the fuck up and just soak up some game, man. For real, you don't just read one book and watch a YouTube video and you watch Hidden Colors and all of a sudden you're on YouTube teaching. It don't work like that. Sorry. Critical thinking, common sense. Why would you want them to come out with the agenda? We should have the agenda and give it to them. And then we can base our support on how much of our agenda they will support. We're not asking them for the agenda. We're presenting the agenda. You know what I'm saying? That's goofy ass thinking that you thought that Bernie Sanders was going to come up with an agenda for us. As if even if he tried, do you really think he's capable of coming up with a sufficient agenda when he ain't went through what we went through? Don't be foolish. But he would have been a better choice than Biden, though, if you want to keep it real. Andrew Yang would have been a better choice than Biden, though. Since there's going to be a president anyway, why not select one that would give some type of tangibles or something that would make our life easier? In my opinion, Bernie Sanders and Andrew Yang both did that. We're not going to get into that deeply, but that's just a fact. But it's funny how the same people who say politics don't work are complaining about the bums that are you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you so mad about Kamala Harris if politics don't fucking work? Why do you care if she becomes vice president? Why do you care about this shit if politics don't work? If it don't mean nothing? Cut it out. It's time to boss up. And that means we boss up in every field. Yeah, we could destroy this shit, but let's boss up, because guess what? How are we gonna rule our own shit if we don't even know how rulership even fucking works? How about that? How are you gonna rule some shit and you don't even understand simple shit like sociology or civics, industry, infrastructure, scaling education to masses? How are you gonna rule some shit and you don't understand that? Because you're not participating right now. Let's keep it real. So when it comes down to these politicians, no, we're supposed to give them the agenda. We tell them what we want. We tell them what we demand. And you back that. That's how it works. That's what the LGBT did. That's what the corporations did. So you want to know why Obama catered to them? That's why. Because they put him in office. Yeah, we voted, but we didn't make no demands. We didn't collectively give him an agenda in order for him to accept it or not. Other people do that. That's why they get more results. They're participating. So the idea that Asians don't participate in politics, that's bullshit. Jewish people don't participate in politics, that's bullshit. Yes, they do. But I didn't want to get too deep in that. Let's get on this shit. So, introduction. As citizens and lawmakers both, we are joining to demand. As citizens and lawmakers both, we are joining to demand the contract with Black America be addressed immediately to finally create the more perfect union all Americans deserve. As such, it is time for complete paradigm shift of how we run our institutions and operate our country. The problems facing America are too deep and wide to simply reform one area or another. Long-lasting solutions demand a comprehensive, thorough rethink of America so that each new approach in each area supports the success of the others. This contract with Black America will provide conceptual approaches in several areas. So conceptual approaches mean it could be built upon in concept. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's something. And to me, I think that's pretty dope. And coming from somebody like a Cube, it can catch traction if we let it. It's not going to catch traction from the mainstream media. They want no parts of this. You know what I'm saying? If Ice Cube was arrested at the airport with a chopper and 2 pounds of weed, that shit would be all over the news. But this same person that has a status like very few, they ain't gonna put this on mainstream. If we don't adopt this and start pushing this, it's not gonna catch. That's why George Floyd changed the world when everybody's seen what happened, because we pushed it. Because we've been rumbling on this. See, we control the trends when we collectively understand our influence and power. The world wants to be like us. They follow what we say is hot. Well, now we got to make, you know what I'm saying, the struggle hot. And people will join, as you've seen. Let me see. I just want to skim over some of this. So, number one, a bill to guarantee black opportunity and representation. Adopt a plan of neo construction to adjust the wrong systematically approach. So, it is what it is. And guarantee black opportunity and representation, meaning that we should be represented in different industries and fields. But at least I also believe that we should be building on our own shit simultaneously as well. I mean, yes, we should have more representation and more power in this corporation called the United States. But also, we should be building our own shit. Then we can leverage the two and see what it do. And time will dictate. We know what it should be, long range. But we got to work on right now. So, banking lending reform. So, banks lending will be regulated to require banks to lend a percentage of all loan in the national black population. See, that's dope. Okay, that's a good start. Now, remember, we have black banks, and if we empower them, I believe that we would get a lot more. We get a lot further with them. However, make everybody play fair. That's all. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. Next level is crypto. Now, cryptocurrency, we are the banks. We gotta learn about that because we're gonna be able to leverage that and pay attention to. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Federal funding of baby bonds. Past federal programs and Representative Presley accounts to be managed by the Treasury, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's cool. Once again, remember, you know what I'm saying? Like, as we make these demands to make this the standard, we also should be thinking in terms of doing this ourselves, implementing this type of stuff ourselves as well. All right. So it's not that we're begging or you know what I'm saying, for everybody to do something. It's like we should also be doing things, because when we do that, that will give us more leverage. It's kind of like Master P. Master P walked into that negotiation table with Jimmy Iovine. Iovine threw him $1 million. He was like, nah, I could do better than that. I could sell independent and get that. So he went back, popped in trunks, selling the shit out of albums, becoming rich, and then Jimmy Iovine realized, or whoever control of Interscope or whatever company that was like, yo, we could either get our beaks wet and get some of this money, or we ain't gonna get none of it. And that was the leverage, because Master P come back to the table like, yo, I'm already a millionaire. I could sell 10,000 and get 10,000 albums and have 100,000 in a couple weeks. I don't really need you guys, because selling 1 million with you guys ain't gonna make me that same kind of money. So that was the leverage. So like when we have more that we have going on, then they have to respect the game that much more. Federal Reserve and government pensions. To qualify Black American, Federal Reserve to allow a one-time interest-free loan for home ownership. That's dope. Like I said, we have to empower our own banks too. Finance oversight, personal data and credit. Most states publicly release bulk data about arrest unchecked, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Prison reform, justice reforms. See, these are kind of things that right now, are being spoken upon with the defund the police, a movement that you have to keep going. And like you said, we have a window of opportunity. And the reason I'm going to say, I'll back that. I don't think the reason of opportunity has anything or very much to do with the elections, as much as seizing the moment. The momentum. We've become offensive now instead of just defensive. Yeah, we still need that defense, but we're now the one that's dictating some of these things. We have the momentum on our side. We cannot let that go and not accomplish what we're supposed to accomplish with it. That would be a disrespect to the ancestors, a disrespect to our children, that we have this epic time right now where people are gravitating towards us. Some of you guys are so afraid of that you want to push them away. Oh, this is just a black movement. We don't need nobody. Just shut the fuck up. We have the momentum now. Now everybody is doing what we demand and helping us, participating. Even in some cities, their participation is outweighing ours. Let that shit happen. We have an opportunity now. Now the grassroots organizers must be supported even more, because that's where the programs that are coming in that will help when these polices are defunded, which will give now more leverage to those grassroots organizations in our communities that are under resourced and people are overworked, making miracles happen with nothing. So these are the kind of moves that have to be made, because that's going to be our defense against poverty and the eviction rates, which I told you was going to be off the roof when they first started handing out those stimulus. Told y'all that. Whatever though. So king shit, man. Let's keep it going. Police reform. Now look, we got to get in there, and I'm gonna tell you this: we did in Washington State something that's never been done in the whole country, and that is pass the first law ever in the country that hold police accountable, because we took out malicious. Was it malicious? Malice intent, because that's a state of mind. That's how come police just say I was feared for my life. Now it's not malice. Period. We took that out. They can't hide behind that no more in Washington State. So that's something that was pretty epic that y'all didn't hear about. I was trying to tell y'all. Y'all didn't hear about it because they're not going to put it on the news, because they're not going to show our victories in the mainstream media. But it's something that y'all should have been able to do. Hence why we need, in fact, NBPP, different gun clubs, different organized, disciplined black men and women that can actually demonstrate with the show of force. That's going to make them slow the roll by itself. You don't like in fact, we'll wait until all these Crips, Bloods, and GDs and all these other organizations come together on the right page, which is slowly happening. Yeah, we already have millions already in the bag. What about the 500,000 or so black American soldiers that are woke up and getting woke up and now want to put in that work for the home team, for their nation? You guys don't get it. You guys don't get it yet, man. But I'm telling you, it is what it is. All right. So that's gonna be part of the police reform, because when they see that, when they really have to, first of all, when they realize that they will be held accountable lawfully for their actions, they're gonna show that same restraint they showed to the white boys with the AR-15. They ain't just gonna be doing the hop out of cars and popping. They ain't gonna do that when they know that their life could be in danger or they could lose their freedom. You got to be able to push up with all kind of pressure. FCC licensing in public airways, Confederate monuments and institutions, eliminate them, get rid of that symbology. And if you really believe that it's our time, then you should expect that those things were going to naturally go away. One way program that provides access to jobs and education. Okay, but we should really be thinking about creating our own jobs. Black responsibility. Chronic poverty creates an atmosphere full of negativity, frustration, homelessness, depression, alcoholism, drug abuse, economic equality. It is our duty to clean up ourselves and our community. This contract is a two-way street. As we gain social and political and economic equality, we must begin to dissolve any bitterness in our hearts for past wrongs. We must become better citizens who are more productive on all levels of American society. We really must step up after we pass the contract of Black America with no more excuses left in the kitty. Our entertainers should be persuaded to, I don't know. That's it. Anyway, so I mean, it is what it is. Okay. Now I know some people are gonna say, "Well, Ice Cube ain't the one to do it, and he's a celebrity." I know, I get it, but if the principles are good, then we can roll with it. And keep in mind, this is being, what I'm saying, like, understand strategy sometimes, you guys. I know you want to be extra revolutionary, and it's just not enough unless we're just gonna go to the White House and just slit a cracker's throat, and take him out the Oval Office. Like, cut it out. Ain't doing all that. Sometimes the approach that we have, we're gonna make some things are for the mainstream. That's for the mainstream. Nice and safe for you, but it still has the principles of what we need right there. Blam, blam, blam. You know what I'm saying? it's just strategy, man. Like you don't see, you know, racist ass, these big presidents and shit. For the most part, they don't just come out and say we, what I'm saying. They're gonna say some shit. You know what it is. So we just understand the strategy sometimes, man. But yeah, I fucks with it. The contract with Black America, I believe in principle, it's cool. But remember, this is what I'm saying. I love Ice Cube, but remember, this is just like conceptualism right here. This is concepts, like I said at the beginning. So yes, it must be restructured with some of the most brilliant minds that our people really trust and have integrity. You know what I'm saying? And we can iron that shit out. And there's enough of us that we can put together a sufficient contract that we give. And here's what we do as we demand for reparations. Listen, if it don't work, it don't work. But we're gonna go ahead and push it and give it, the best try we can. And if they come back, no reparations, fuck your contract and all that shit, guess what? That's cool. And if we go back to that mindset, we'll be good. We could pull the $1 trillion that we spend with them and spend it with ourselves, and we'll be one of the richest nations on the planet overnight, literally. So, sometimes that's what it is. Make them say no right now. This reparations, it ain't gonna work. You don't believe in it, blah, blah, blah. We'll make them sell their banks and create our own, or fuck with the crypto, or why we need to be spending with ourselves, why we need to be buying land, why we need to possibly be migrating to some of the cities, because we have about 20 black towns right now. Like right now. There are 20 black towns, about a dozen of them are in Oklahoma alone. Maybe we should migrate down there. Maybe the gentrification that's happening in the big cities up north, maybe we should take the bag for them homes and buy land down south. That's king shit, though. Random thoughts of Your Highness. Anyway, the black contract with America, I'll give it a C. Overall, I'll give it a C. But it's a work in progress, and I think if the right people get behind it,